Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. You don't know, my name's Chad, and take a dive into the world of sports. This is my NFL Week 13 preview and pick video. We kind of look over the upcoming week of college football as we hit the first weekend of December. So, end of the year is almost approaching. This is, the holiday season for everyone. And hopefully, I'll find a little bit more presents under the tree for me with these picks. In case you don't know, last week, me and my son actually tied and went 7-8. It was a pretty pathetic performance by both of us, so hopefully we can do much better. But before we do this preview and pick, if you go ahead and smash that thumbs up for me, it pleases the YouTube gods. It helps this channel out. While you're there, you can also subscribe. Looking at my analytics, I know I have a lot of viewers, and thank you for viewing these videos. But not a lot of you are subscribing. Doesn't hurt. It actually helps me provide more content to you. And let's go ahead and just dive right into this for tonight's kickoff game between the Dallas Cowboys and New Orleans Saints down the Big Easy. This one's going to be a little interesting. For the Saints, we still don't know if Kamara's going to be coming back or not. So that's a huge piece of their offense missing. Taysom Hill's now been named starter over Trevor Siemian, and see that actually sparks some type of offensive genius, or actually more points being scored. For Dallas, Amari Cooper is now off the inactive list and has been active but still questionable for tonight's game. More likely, probably will see some playing time, but might not be a prominent role as he was before. But Kevin McCarthy is now out due to protocol issues. And Quinn has already been nominated as the interim coach for tonight's game, which should be no problem because Quinn does have a history against Sean Payton, being the former Falcons head coach, so he knows Sean Payton's tendencies quite well. And this is one of these things, does the Cowboys defense really step up and show up again? Micah Parsons, like I said, he's a heat missile back there for that Dallas defense. He always seems to find the ball and finds ways to make sure he's part of that play. The guy use him a little bit better. Trevion Diggs got to he's got to step up, probably make another pick or two to see what happens. But with this one, a lot of experts saying this is like the Cowboys must-win game. I don't want to say necessarily a must-win as of yet, but Dallas Cowboys got to be looking over their shoulders because not only is Washington starting to perform very well, Philadelphia's creeping back there as well. So if they don't watch out, they're going to make that NFC East divisional race a lot closer than should be. But with this one, me and my son are both in agreement. We both believe Dallas is going to do what they need to do. Like I said, it's the Saints is one of these teams that you can't really determine which defense is going to show up. But I think it's just too many Cowboys offensive weapons for the Saints to really try to pinpoint, and the Cowboys should win tonight. On Sunday, good old Tom Brady takes on the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. And, well, I'm not going to go against Tom Brady. I did that last week, and he smacked me for that one. So, sorry, Tom. That won't happen again. Yeah. Famous last words. Once again, me and my son in agreement. We both picked Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Then we kind of head up into Chicago, where the Bears will be playing host to the surprise Arizona Cardinals in the matchup between two of the oldest franchises in the NFL, with the Cardinals being the oldest. And they actually started in Chicago way back in the day. And, this is one of the things, Kyler Murray could be returning, DeAndre Hopkins could be returning for the Cardinals. So now you start getting their key pieces coming back, and they've been winning without them. So it's kind of hard to really not pinpoint that fact. For the Bears, Justin Fields will be activated, but more likely he will be put as a backup role since he won't be 100% due to that hit he took 2 weeks ago against the Ravens. And Andy Dalton's going to be the starter again. But it's just one of these things that I think the defense is going to should do some make themselves known, but surprisingly we split on this one, and I cannot right now pick the Bears to beat the Cardinals. There's not enough there. The Bears are of course, without Khalil Mack, who's out for the season, does a surgery. And it's just too many issues right now on that Chicago side that, no, the Cardinals, I see the Cardinals win their 10th game this Sunday. Then the Los Angeles Superchargers will now visit the Jungle and take on the Cincinnati Bengals. This one is very hard to really, really pinpoint because the Chargers, when these teams are very, very good, and they always seem to find ways to be mediocre and try to lose games, regardless of what Justin Herbert's trying to do and back there in the backfield. I mean, he has over 3,000 yards passing, 24 touchdowns, but it's just, but they're only 6-5, and they should be a lot better than that. Now they've proven they can, beat the good teams, and then they struggle with teams that probably should beat, and I think they're going to give Cincinnati problems. Just how they play. But right now, Cincinnati, I think, is finding their stride, their rhythm. They're playing at home. They got to defend their home because right now they're not doing very good at home. And right now, Cincinnati, according to time this video, is only favored by 3. I think that's pretty accurate. But with this one, once again, we split, and I'm taking the Bengals over the Chargers. Minnesota will visit Detroit to take on the Motor City Kitties. I can't even call them the Lions anymore because they're not ferocious at all. It's just a joke right now in Detroit. On the bad side for Minnesota, Delvin Cook is out. And Kirk Cousins can't tell the difference between a guard and a center. Detroit's going to make this one interesting. So I think it'll be a lot closer than the 7 points of Minnesota's favor. I think Minnesota's going to win by 3. And then we have the Giants heading down to South Beach, take on Miami. And this Giants team is one of these other ones that it's hard to determine which team's going to show up. Same thing with Miami. It's like a lot of these teams this year in the NFL. You don't know who's going to show up. And with this one, I think, once again, we split. But Miami came out last week and smacked the Panthers down. I see them doing that again against the Giants. Even though the Giants' quarterback's a little bit better. Saquon Barkley's back in the backfield for the Giants, but he's not quite up to the same level he has been. Unfortunately, he's had pretty much an injury-prone career, so it's kind of Forstall has really taken off as he really should, like he did early in the first couple years. But I once again, we're split, and I am taking Miami to knock off the G-Men. And then Philadelphia playing their second game in a row at MetLife. Now they're going to take on the Jets. And the Jets is one of these teams that just find ways to make idiotic plays. Last week, Zach Wilson hit the back of the head of one of his players in a shuffle pass that got intercepted, but they still end up winning. And Philadelphia just found new ways to suck as they laid an egg against the Giants last week in their loss. I think the Eagles going to shed off some of that doubt, that misfiring they had last week offensively, because defensively they did their job, but offensively they couldn't do anything. I have a feeling they're going to find ways to kind of get back in stride, and they'll definitely beat the Jets. The Indies come down to Houston. Houston fell apart last week against the Jets. And the Colts gave too much time to Tom Brady, and it cost them. So, don't you know, horseshoes are not always lucky. But it's just one of these things. I think Carson Wentz is going to have a field day with the Texans defense. As long as the Colts go back to the running attack with Jonathan Taylor, who has been a stalwart of that rushing attack and really led to a lot of these victories the Colts have had. As long as the Colts go back to that run first kind of mentality, that takes a lot of pressure off of Wentz, and the Colts would win. Out in Vegas, the surging Washington football team will take on the Raiders. Now, with this one's kind of hard to kind of see because Trevor Siemian is starting to do what he needs to do. Like I said, I've gotten behind him before earlier in the season, and then he just collapsed. And right now, he's back on the resurgence, and I was behind him last week. But if it wasn't for the defense of Washington, I think Washington would have lost. Las Vegas went to the Big D and just smacked the Cowboys. So did Denver. And it's just one of these things that Derek Carr is just a phenomenal quarterback, really. He just doesn't really have too many offensive weapons for him at his disposal, but yet they still find ways to win. Especially with defense, I think it's going to be no issues. It's going to be a very good match. Right now, Vegas is leading by, like I said, by the time this video at 2.5 points. Yeah, it's going to be that close. But once again, me and my son split on this one, and I'm taking the Raiders. And then you have the Jaguars visiting the Rams, and the Rams are, on paper, they should be a whole lot better than what they are. They should probably at least be like, 9-2. But they have been struggling, and especially against, playoff caliber teams, and they haven't really, gone over that threshold. Matthew Stafford is a very quality quarterback. He's definitely an upgrade over Jared Goff. I mean, he has over 300 yards with 27 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp's been a key aspect to that. Already getting 1,200 yards already this season with 10 TDs. And taking on a Jaguars team that is feisty and will probably turn some heads in LA, to say the least. But I do not believe that the Jaguars are at that level yet to really be consistent against quality teams. I mean, they got that surprise against Buffalo. But I see the Rams winning this one and moving on. Right now, they're favored by 13. I don't see that. I think the Rams will win by 10. I'll just put it that way. And then you have Baltimore taking on Pittsburgh. And, wow. The Steelers is your run-of-the-mill team right now. No one's afraid. Cincinnati took it to them, and actually last week and just blew them out. And that's one of the worst loss they've had in 5 years. The defense coughed out 40 points plus for the past 2 games. But then you look at last week, look at Lamar Jackson, and he was just a turnover machine in the first half of the game against the Browns, but then made spectacular throws and was able to escape in the second half, which led to the Ravens' victory. But with T.J. Watt still out, the defense is going to be lacking some teeth. And Lamar's he's going to keep it close for him. Right now, Lamar is these past 3 or 4 games have been really bad with turnovers. So I see that trend continuing with Lamar Jackson. Because he likes to make challenges for himself, I guess. Or he feels guilty that they're beating the team a certain way. So he's like, here, have a ball, please. But I see Baltimore knocking off Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh is in danger of not having to win the season the first time under Tomlin's tenure. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a happy camper after this one, I think. Then up into the home of the 12th man. And the 49ers will be visiting Seattle. Russell Wilson last week didn't look spectacular at all for most of that game against Washington, except for that, last 2 minutes of the game. Then you saw Russell's brilliance shine through. He didn't do much against Green Bay either. When his return, he looked really off, really rusty, which was, I think, expected coming off his injury. And the 49ers is one of these teams that now are starting to gel, starting to progress further and dominate as they need to. Even though their rushing attack is not really, I think, where they should be. Mitchell doesn't have 700 yards yet. But I think that no one fears the Seattle defense. And Russell Metcalf hasn't really gelled yet since his return, and they're like on different pages of the playbook right now. But this is another one that me and my son split on. And he's not going against a team he likes a lot, but I right now have to go with Jimmy G and the 49ers going up to Seattle, knocking off Russell Wilson and the Seahawks at home. I think it's going to be the last year Russell Wilson spends in Seattle. And Pete Carroll's got to do some serious rebuilding on that team in the offseason. Off the Sunday night, when you got the AFC West, Wild West shootout between Denver and Kansas City over there in Arrowhead. And that Denver team is one of these you kind of have to scratch your head on. The defense team got better once they got rid of Von Miller for some reason, which is kind of strange. They're doing what they had to do. Got that big victory last week that I didn't think they can do. And Gordon has 600 yards on the ground. Really? And the Chiefs' defense has kind of been susceptible to the run, so that could play a factor in this scenario. The Chiefs have actually looked pretty good in these past couple of games they played. Look like they're actually back to form. They're finally starting to do what they need to do because they're sitting back on top of the West. And I think the trend's going to continue, but I know Denver is going to give it to them. Right now, KC is favored by 9.5. It's going to be closer than that. I think the most the Chiefs can win is by 7. So you can probably take Denver in the points and make be all right. But yeah, I'm going to go with KC on this one to knock off the Broncos. And then the game of the week be played on Monday night, where you have the battle of the AFC East, as the Buffalo Bills will take on the resurgent New England Patriots. The Patriots come in on this epic winning streak. Buffalo had that huge game on Thanksgiving where they dominated the Saints. The Bills have been susceptible to some bad games. I mean, Jacksonville. And they have always been firing all cylinders, but I think the Bills are going to come out on that night, on Monday night, to step up and take on their heated rivals. As I said at the beginning of the season when I made my prediction video, that the AFC East was the Bills' division to lose. Right now, they're losing it. This is their chance to prove that they are legit, to dethrone the Patriots in the East, to really make their statement, to hopefully make that push into the upper echelon of the elite teams of the AFC. Because right now there isn't one. There's a plethora of teams that could be the number one team, and the Bills are in that conversation, but they're not playing that way, and they need this statement win to put themselves back on top, back on the limelight, to being the team I think a lot of people really think, outside of Buffalo, that could make a serious run for the Super Bowl. And I am one of these people that right now I will take Josh Allen over Mac Jones. But Mac Jones is not a talent not to look over, especially under Belichick's tutelage. And he's done a phenomenal job with Mac Jones. The way that this team is running in New England is eerily similar to what some of the teams were when he had Tom Brady as the quarterback. built on defense with efficient offenses. And I think if the Bills could find ways to corral Mac Jones, disrupt his timing, I think that's going to be key for Buffalo to win. And Buffalo's got to find ways to pick apart this New England defense, take what they're given and exploit that. And once again, me and my son differ on this one, but I have to go with Buffalo in this one to edge out New England. Right now, on Thursday, Buffalo's favored 2.5. Lines could change by the time Monday kicks off. And I think it's going to be that close. I really do. Well, there you have it. Those are my picks. And we'll see if I can try to rectify this losing streak I'm on for 5 straight weeks now. I've lost 7 or more games. This is getting old. I feel like Detroit. Or maybe Chicago. I mean, so now it's the December. Got rid of the facial hair. Look like a baby face. Well, maybe maybe shaving can rectify my NFL picks. And it doesn't ruin my college picks. Well, hey, let me know which game you guys are all looking forward to tonight, or not tonight, but this weekend per se. Like I said, that Monday night matchup is going to be an epic showdown tonight. Should be a decent game to watch. A little Sunday night. I know that Baltimore-Pittsburgh game is going to be huge, as well as the Chargers and Bengals. So definitely some quality games coming up to really look to watch, and I always love checking out these games. But just let me know which one you're looking forward to, and I love hearing from y'all. While you're there, you go ahead and smash that thumbs up for me. Give me a like, especially if you like the content, and especially what I bring to you in entertainment value. While you're there, you can also smash that subscribe as well. That helps the channel out, helps me provide more content to you all, and hopefully brighten your day with some rants and raves of an old man in front of a camera. Once you subscribe, you can also hit that bell notification, let you know next time I post a video, and I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.